Okay, so hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss this particular uh, discussion question. Here is a discussion question. Here we do have the question like this: Climate change is a big environmental problem that has become critical in the last couple of decades. Some people claim that humans should stop burning fossil fuels and use only alternative energy sources, such as wind and solar power. Others say that oil, gas, and coal are essential for many industries, and not using them will lead to economic collapse. So, these are the two views. And these two views are contradicting, they're just opposing each other. So, let's see what exactly is happening in this particular discussion question. So we have two particular viewpoints. The first particular viewpoint is that some people claim that humans should stop burning fossil fuels, that is gasoline or kerosene, all these things. You have to stop. Coal. So these should be stopped because it causes big environmental problems. If you continue burning fossil fuels like petrol, diesel, coal, or other firewoods, whatever it is, it causes big environmental problem because we are multiplying by population, and the use of these fossil fuels are exceeding the limit. So it's high time. So it is, we environmentalists say that this is the point, we need to stop this thing, please. Others say that oil, gas, and coal are essential for many industries. So we are having a lot of industries, and industries are the backbone of the economy. And if I don't have a powerful industrial growth, my economic growth will also be a problem. So, in order to compensate this thing, so in order to solve the problem of economic collapse, I should say that industry should remain, and industries should use oil, gas, coal, and other things there. So in one way they say that it should be stopped, and one way they are saying that it should be continued. Let's say the introduction, we need to address these things in detail, discuss these things in detail, and we have to give a logical conclusion. The world is facing many adverse consequences related to the climate change. Recently, we have said a lot of climate change. We have seen a lot of climate change, and many attribute this excessive uses for fossil fuels. Is many of the climate change problems are attributed to the irrational use of the fossil fuels. Pointing at this, some suggest that the use of alternative energy resources whereas others think it is impractical due to economic challenges. So, pointing at the environmental problems, the climate change, the adverse effect of climate change, many people suggest that we need to use alternative energy sources instead of the conventional energy sources. But others say that it is not possible, it is impractical, because we do have economic problems there. If I go ahead with that, we have economic problems. Both these arguments have their own significance, and hence a detailed discussion is needed before framing a logical conclusion. Now let's see in the first paragraph. On the one hand, the cardinal reason why the former group feels that people should seriously think about the use of alternative energy sources such as solar and wind power is because of the extensive damage the climate change has brought to the world in the last 2 decades. We can say the last 2 decades we have seen a lot of wildfires, glacier melts, flash floods, thunderstorms. Examples are there. They point at the occurrences of flash floods in arid regions, the burning of hectares of forest in continents like North America and Australia. You can see in the US, Virginia, California, some states are, forests are burned, hectares of areas are burned because of the climate change. Many large glaciers are being disappeared in the polar regions, posing threats to small islands like Maldives. So Maldives is some of the islands which may sink soon, because we do have glacier melts because of the climate change. All these would have avoided if humans had used the fossil fuels rationally, they believe. And this is the reason why they suggest to use alternative resources. So we can solve all these problems if we use the fossil fuels rationally in a limited pace, and we try to go ahead with alternative sources of energy sources, then this problem can be solved to some extent. This is what the first group suggests. And what about the second group? On the other hand, others feel that cutting down of conventional energy use would adversely affect the pace of the human development. So we do have an ongoing process of development, and this would be halted. They believe it is irrational to do so until humans find a better alternative to fossil fuels. If I don't find a better alternative to fossil fuels, this is absolutely irrational, illogical. And energy requirements at present cannot be effectively met with the solar energy and wind power, solar energy. So whatever the energy units we get from these things are not sufficient for to meet our energy requirements at present. In future, we will be having more demands. Therefore, they don't suggest a change in the present way of energy consumption. So this is the reason why they tell to continue the use. We have no option before us. We need to continue the use, the consumption which we are doing. After analyzing both views in detail, though the effects of climate change are alarming, so we do have a lot of effects of climate change, and it is alarming. I feel unless and until a better alternative is found, humans have no other option but to continue the use of fossil fuels. However, I suggest they should be used in a more rational way. So it should not be used irrationally. So that's the thing. So that's my personal opinion. It's given at the end. Suggestion is given at the end. We have said we don't have other option. Even if I use solar energy and wind power, it won't be able to satisfy the human needs at present. We need to continue the use of coal, natural gas, all these things, other fossil fuels. But it should be used in a rational way so that we can try to prevent these types of climate changes and other adverse effects. And hope you have understood from the very beginning and the structure. Thank you.